Wellsworth is one of the biggest towns on the island of Sodor, and Edward is proud to call it his home. He shunts in the yards and makes sure the trains are ready for the mainline engines. But by far one of his most important jobs is being the banking engine. When engines get stuck on Gordon's Hill, he is ready and willing to help them. But Edward was getting old, and with each passing day the trains that needed help felt heavier and heavier. One morning the Fat Controller came to see him.
"Ah, Edward. You're doing well, but I can see the banking work is becoming difficult."
"Yes, sir," Edward puffed sadly.
"Not to worry. I have a new engine coming on trial. You shall be able to help until I can find another engine to work here permanently. I'm sure you will show her the ropes."
"Of course, sir," Edward said. That made him feel much better. A week later, the engine arrived at Wellsworth. She was a big tank engine painted in all black. "Hello there, I am Edward," said Edward cheerfully to the new engine. But she just frowned at him. "Oh, is this the yard I'm working in? I expected bigger," she said, sounding disappointed. "Well, it's not the biggest of yards, but it gets busy, and the banking duties take time. If you like, I can show you around. What's your name?" The engine just scoffed. "The name's Rosie, and I've worked in yards much bigger than this. I can handle myself," she puffed as she set to work. Edward didn't know what to think. Over the next few days, Rosie worked well in the yards, but whenever Edward offered any help, she would just roll her eyes at him. Edward wasn't the only one to face her, however. One day, Bill and Ben had taken some china clay up from the pits. They saw Rosie resting in a siding when they snuck up on her. Just as they were about to play their trick on her, she blew a whistle long and loud. The twins jumped in fright. "I wouldn't try and sneak up on me again, understood?" Rosie said sternly. Both twins decided it was best to puff sheepishly away. Soon, however, the weather changed. The rain left the rails wet and slippery. As Edward and Rosie were sat in the yard, they saw Henry passing by with a heavy goods train. "He will need you to bank him up the hill. Use plenty of sand," Edward warned, but Rosie didn't listen. "What is it with you Sodor engines and trying to tell me what to do? I'm not as helpless as you all seem to think, Eddie." "My name is Edward," he corrected her, starting to become annoyed with the little engine. Rosie didn't say another word as she began to puff away. Edward sighed. "That engine is heading for trouble." As Rosie reached the bottom of the hill, she saw Henry. "Hold on tight, I'll get you up the hill," she said proudly. "Thanks," panted Henry. He was out of breath. Rosie buffeted up to Henry's train and started to push. Things went well at first. She got him halfway up the hill before her wheels started to slip. She gasped as she felt the weight of the heavy train straining on her buffers. She forgot Edward's advice and instead started to puff harder. Her cheeks went bright pink as she puffed as hard as she could, but it was no use. Before she knew it, the train was rolling back down to the bottom of the hill. "What's going on back there?" called an annoyed Henry. Rosie was too ashamed to reply. A few minutes later, she heard a whistle from behind as Edward buffered up. "Here to laugh at me then?" she sulked, but Edward just laughed. "No, not at all. Everyone makes mistakes. Let's conquer this hill together." Rosie was shocked, but was soon smiling. "You're on!" The two engines blasted their whistles loudly as they started on the hill once more. As they got halfway up, Rosie found her wheels slipping again. "Use your sand," said Edward calmly. Rosie dropped some sand on the rails and regained her grip. Soon they'd pushed the heavy train up the hill as Henry steamed off, whistling a quick "thank you" to them both. When they arrived back at Wellsworth, the Fat Controller was waiting for them. "The station master has told me everything," he said sternly as he turned to Rosie. "Edward was trying to help you, Rosie. He's a wise engine and you should have listened." "Yes, sir," she panted sadly. "However," he continued, "you have shunted well in the yard and you have proven just now that you can learn from your mistakes. Maybe next time you bank a train you shall avoid, Rosie Cheeks." He smirked to himself. "In fact, I would like to give you a new coat of paint and make you a permanent part of this yard. Would you like that?" Rosie gasped. "Yes, I would, sir." And so it was arranged. A few days later, Edward was sitting in the yard when a small red tank engine puffed in. He gasped. "Rosie? Why, you look splendid." Rosie just laughed. "I feel it, Edward," she corrected herself, but Edward just laughed. "If you want to call me Eddie, you can," he told her calmly, and they both laughed. To this day, they both are firm friends, and while Rosie doesn't like to be told what to do, she's no longer too proud to get help from others, especially Edward.